Hello everyone, welcome to Java Expert. In our previous video, we have covered the theoretical part of Eureka services, and in this today's video, we are going to implement the Eureka server practically. So we are going to perform three things here. First one is going to be create the Eureka server. Second is going to be configure the Eureka client. Third one is going to be we are going to test the Eureka server. So first we will create the Eureka server. So let's go to File, New, Spring Starter project. So you just fill the details here. So I already filled it here, Eureka server things. And next we are going to add the dependencies here. So we need two dependencies here. One is Spring Web, as we already know, and Eureka server. So we are going to create the Eureka server. So we have to add the Eureka server dependency here. So next and finish. So that's it. Now our Eureka server is ready. So we have to provide few configuration on the Eureka server project. Let's go here. So first thing is going to be go to the Eureka server application class. The first thing we have to annotate with enable Eureka server. So we have to mention here this is the server. So we have to annotate with enable Eureka server. And there are few configuration you have to mention in property file. So first we have mentioned the application name here. So it's going to be Eureka server. Thus we can mention the application name and server port. Eureka server by default it will run with 8761 port. So we will mention the same here. Even if you are not mentioning, it will run with 8761 port only. And we have to provide few other things. Eureka.client dot register with Eureka. It should be false because this is not a client, it's a server. So this server is no need to register with Eureka itself. So we have to make it as false. And one more thing we have to mention in the server is Eureka.client.fetch registry. This is also should be false in the Eureka server. So that's it. So creating a Eureka server is very easy. Now we have done that. Now let's start the Eureka server and I will see that. So Eureka server, it will come with default console. So once the server is started, so we can go to the browser and we can see the Eureka console. Now it is started, we can see, okay, it's a port 8761, it is running. Let's go to the browser, localhost 8761. If you refresh, you can see that this is the Eureka console. So you can, there are many sections, few sections are here. So you can see instance currently registered with Eureka is no instance because we just started the server alone. So we have to configure the Eureka client. So then only we can able to see the registered clients here, right? So first step is no, we have done the first step. We have created the Eureka server. Now let's go to the client and we will configure the Eureka clients. So we'll take fund transfer and bank rates as a client here for the Eureka server and we'll configure it. Guys, if you don't know how to create the bank transfer microservice or fund transfer microservice, which I already created it, you can refer our previous videos because I have explained how we have created the bank transfer and fund transfer microservice, all those stuff. Okay, you just go through the previous videos. First, we'll go to the bank transfer. So first, we have to add the dependency here. So go to pom.xml, right click, Spring, add starters. So here we have to add the client. When you're creating the server, you have to add Eureka server as a dependency. Now we are configuring the client, so you have to mention Eureka discovery client. This dependency we have to add here, right? So it's simple. Now we have added the dependency, so we have to add a few configuration over there in the bank transfer. Bank rates service. Go to the main class. Here, enable Eureka client. When it is a server, you have to enable the server. If it is a client, you have to enable the Eureka client. And few configuration in the property file. So here we have to mention is a client Eureka.client register with Eureka. So it should be true because it's a client. and the same way Eureka dot client dot fetch registry, it should be true. Apart from that, we have to mention where the Eureka server is running, right? So that information you have to provide it here. Eureka dot client dot service URL you have to provide. So service URL dot default zone equal to where it is running, http slash localhost colon, it's running in 8761 port slash Eureka. So this is the URL for our Eureka service, Eureka server. Next, you have to mention the host name of Eureka server. Eureka dot instance dot host name is localhost. So that's it. Now our client also ready. No, let's start the bank transfer, bank rate service now, and we'll see how this is registered into our Eureka server. Start the application. Yeah, it is started. Now you can see it in the console of bank rate service. See, it is telling registered instance with a uh, service name. So you have to understand when you are registering that, it will be registered as a name. See, in our in their bank rates model, this is the application name you are giving it. It's a rate service, right? So it will be registered as a rate service in the Eureka server. If we go to Eureka server dashboard, let's refresh, you can see it. Application name is rate service and its details. Because it is our local host no name it is displaying here, and its port. It is running with the 987 port, right? So a rate service client is registered with Eureka server, right? Let's go to our fund transfer service. So we will add this also as a client to the Eureka server. And here is the one important thing we have to note. So first we'll make fund transfer also client as client to the Eureka server. So let's add the started. And we'll add the Eureka discovery client dependency to the fund transfer module. Yes, it's done. So now let's go to main class, enable Eureka client. I'll go to the property. So in fund transfer module, we are maintaining as a YAML file. So we'll do that. Client dot register with Eureka. That should be true. And which registry also should be true. And you have to mention the service URL. Default zone. It is running 8761 port plus Eureka, right? So, and next you have to mention the instance host name. It's localhost, right? So now both bank rates and fund transfer module, we added as a client to the Eureka server. Now one important thing is, from fund transfer module we are calling the bank rates module, right? If you have seen our previous videos, we know how we are called all those stuff. I'm going to open that particular class where we are calling it. See here, when you're calling the bank rates service from our fund transfer service, we have hard coded the bank rate service host name and the port. So what we can do is we no need this now because we are using this register, Eureka server, right? We are using the Eureka registry. So we no need to hardcode this. We no need to hardcode this one. We can mention instead of this, bank rates, host name and port. We can mention the service name, right? So this is our where it is in the rate service. This is our rate service name, right? Rates underscore service. So instead of hard coding the host name and port, we can mention this rate service name. What will happen is when you are invoking, when fund transfer module is try to invoke the bank rates, first it will call the Eureka server and will tell I need list of rate service instances, right? Then Eureka server, it will return the bank rates IP and port, and then that call will be initiated, right? I think you have seen our theoretical video, so you can easily understand these things. Let's start the fund transfer application now. So, fund transfer service also starting now. Yes, see that is also registered as a bank. It is fund transfer. Yes, so fund transfer also registered with the Eureka server, right? Let's go to the dashboard. Let's refresh the Eureka dashboard, right? So now you can able to see we have two services registered in Eureka server, right? One is rate service we already done. Now we have added fund transfer service also. Now in the code level also we have changed a few things because when you are calling the rate service from the fund transfer service, earlier we hard coded the rate service host name and port. Now we have mentioned the service name, right? Now we'll test this one. Go to Postman. So this is our fund transfer module, right? Fund transfer endpoint. Fund transfer running with 555 port. Now I'm sending the request. I'm getting the response. Even though I'm not, mentioning the rates service host name and port in the fund transfer, it is working because it is when we are calling the bank transfer, bank rate service from the fund transfer, it will call the Eureka server first and get the list of instance of the bank rates service, and it will do the load balance. As of now, we have only one service, so it won't do anything. If we have a multiple bank rate service, Eureka server return all the bank rate service IP and port, and in the client, basically in fund transfer, we have a Eureka client, right? It will do the round robin based load balancing and it will initiate the request, right? Now Eureka service, will work with Eureka server and client. So we have tested the things. So that's all about this video, guys. I hope you like it. So I'll see you in some another video. Thank you.